Hi everybody, this is Cheryl at Creative Wreaths and Flowers. Finally getting back online, unless my voice starts to go out, you can hear it's kind of froggy. Sitting here on a day during a winter weather watch, wondering what to do, and decided, well, I got everything ready to put together, well, mostly ready to put together for a Valentine heart wreath and a St. Patrick's Day wreath. I went ahead and cut my mesh. I use a cordless electronic rotary cutter, and kind of been informed I'm not supposed to put that online, so I won't. But I've already cut mesh. What I have is I have 12-inch or 10-inch by 20-inch white and pink that I believe I'm going to try to do ruffles in the middle. And I've really been trying to make hearts that retain their heart shape. It's very difficult to do with the ruffle method. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take my 21-inch red. This is from the Hobby Lobby's, can't remember, Maker's Mark maybe? I can't remember, maybe that's a Walmart brand. Anyway, this is from their Christmas clearance. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to do a semi-puff, almost just to cover the wreath on the outside. I'm using a heart form that I got from Hobby Lobby, and this is a 17-inch heart, so it will be large. That's why I don't want to do really the ruffle on the outside, because I don't want it too big. But I got this on sale at Hobby Lobby, and I believe I only paid $3 for it. It's a work form. I've never done a wreath working form. The ones I had were from Dollar Tree, and I just made them. I don't think I made any of them work forms, but I've noticed a couple of spots here where I'm going to have to get creative because the tie isn't exactly where I want it. So I'm going to try to be creative and make it where I want it to be. And if not, then I have also got myself out some, can't get a hold of them, red chenille stems. I got these at the Dollar Tree. And I've also got out my trusty zip ties, so I can use those if I need to. These are all my Valentine Day decorations, and there's ribbons and all kinds of things here which we'll be using. I'll probably go ahead and put the mesh on now, and because it is so cold outside, I haven't been able to seal these, to help with the fray. So what I've taken to doing is I'm spraying them with spray starch to try to help with the fray situation, because no matter what kind of mesh you use, you do get fray. So I'm going to put some spray starch on it. I hang it on my door. I put parchment paper behind it, because the first time I didn't, and it hit the door and ran down. It didn't leave any lasting marks, but I'd rather not have to deal with that at a later point. Excuse me a moment. What do you got? Oh, Lamb is trying to destroy the comb I used to comb her eye ickies out. She doesn't like it. So anyway, pardon me, I'm going to go ahead and put the mesh on this form right now. I've got maybe an hour before I might have to get off of here for a little bit when Mike takes Nick into work. But I'm going to try to get the mesh on this, see how we like it, and we'll move on. I did want to say thank you to all that follow me and watch me. As you know, I'm new to this. I just started in October, and I am trying to get to the point where I can sell these. I am still working with the state of Nebraska, trying to get a number, because I'm going to have to charge people who receive them in Nebraska sales tax. That's their rule. Otherwise, we're doing good. And I'm working on putting a shop on the site so that you don't have to go into the current Wreaths album. You can just go to shop, and it should show you everything I have. I just haven't got that far yet. At this point, I had thought I might go on YouTube. I have decided not to. Um, excuse me. I've decided not to because at this point I'm just not ready. It's overwhelming. Everything you have to do is just overwhelming. But I am going to go ahead and get ready to try to put this first ring on. Like I said, what we're going to do with it is just, it's like the poof method, except I'm not going to be making 10-inch poofs. I don't want it to be real poofy. So we'll see how that goes. And what they say to do, we're going to see if this works. I have a small rug right here on my floor by my feet. And if it sticks to that, I may move the rug. But they say just the best way to do this is to drop, all right, and roll right across your floor. Drop this down on the floor. And I'm not going to worry about any of the fray or anything right now. The other thing I'm trying to see if you can see. This is the first time I put the web camera really far away from me so that you can have a better view. But for the moment, I'm going to tilt it down a little bit so you have a better view of the table. So forgive me here. Whoops, sorry. Didn't mean for that to happen. All right, and then we knocked one of our rolls of pink and red, or pink and white down. So let me grab that real quick. It's like a little reality show. You never know what's going to happen. All right. And I don't know where anybody else is at, but here, like I said, right now we're in a winter weather warning, waiting to get more snow, I assume. I think I'm going to start on this ring here. It doesn't look bad out, and right now, really, it's not snowing at all. So I did take my daughter into work this morning, and that was kind of fun because it was snowing then and getting kind of icky out. But on the way back, because she works in Omaha, and on the way back, well, I don't know what anybody else does on a winter blizzard warning, but I stop at Hobby Lobby, which I got the pink and the white mesh. They have 50% off on their mesh this week. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're just going to gather this up, if I can gather. And you leave about, I'm going to make my tail this long. And it won't matter because we'll tuck it under, hopefully. But you just kind of take this, put it down in your tie, tighten it up. And I'm just going to tighten it once because this isn't real thin, so I don't know if I'll have to go around it more than once or not, but we may want to put some ribbon. I'm starting to try to do the ribbon thing. So you just I'm going to hold that. I'm just going to pull this. And like I said, I'm not going to make a very big poof. I'm just going to, like our other poofs. I think I did one on my first Mardi Gras wreath. But I'm just going to try to cover the outside ring so that it contains its heart shape. And then I'll probably work with the ruffles in the middle, and then we'll decide where we're going to put our ribbon and so forth. Now this is where I think I'm going to have to add a tie or a zip tie, because on this there isn't a tie on the point. And I don't want it just to go across to this tie. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to insert this down around the pole and tie it. I kind of like to do this a couple times. And that way it's secure and it won't move, and then the tie will be where I want it. That's the one thing about making deco mesh ribbons. You get to be very creative if you want. Okay. So now I'm going to take and tie this one down. And I just used one of our pipe cleaners or Chanel stems. It's kind of hot. And this goes pretty quick when you're not making poofs and you're just trying to cover. I didn't open all these up. Maybe I should have, but something I can do as I go around. I'm sorry, the TV is on behind you because I'm trying to keep my eye on the weather. Sorry, it's set up to 8 inches of snow. I didn't realize we were going to get that much. I thought maybe the storm's coming in more towards us. I had thought we were only supposed to get 3 inches, but that said something about 8. Fortunately, my truck has 4-wheel drive. We didn't have any problems this morning. They've been really good about keeping the roads up, so we made sure, like I said, one of the reasons I stopped at Hobby Lobby, also there's a Sam's Club right next to it, and we wanted to put gas in our truck. We like to keep it full during cold weather. I always have with my cars here, just to make sure. And make sure when you do this, you go around the bend. And I'm hoping that this just helps define the heart. And here's another point where I'm probably going to insert another tie because there isn't one where I would like there to be one. So I'm going to take another one of my twist ties, and right here at the point where the dip down in the heart is, I'm just going to insert a zip tie, or I'm sorry, a pipe cleaner. You could, I guess, use zip ties, but I figure I had red pipe cleaners. I got some at the Dollar Tree because they had a bunch of them with their Valentine's stuff, and I thought, well, you just never know what color you might want. And it works better if you use a color that matches your mesh. Okay. And I'm going to take my mesh, put it right down in here. And then pull my ties. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Minda. Peg, are you getting snow up there? Is it really bad up there where you're at? Sorry, I have to squint and look because, you know, old people. We've almost got this first row done. And I'm going to bring it back here. And as you can see, I now have the heart form covered on the outside, which was my goal. So that's a good thing. And I'm just going to take my scissors and carefully cut a tail off. And I believe I don't do fray well. Can't take it. What they say to do is to tuck it. And I'm going to actually fold this like that and tuck it. And I think to hold that down, I'll just take another one of our pipe cleaners. That down like that. And this one, it's not fraying too bad because that's the one I just cut. And I will take another pipe cleaner. And just keep my eye out for Lamba because she loves mesh, and I have that roll sitting on the floor, so I might need these just a little bit more in the center there. Tuck it on here. And that's what our covered, it's kind of hard to tell where there we go. That's what it looks like covered without poofs in the mesh. I'm just going to take all these ties and move them out of our way. Because we don't want them in our way when we start working in the middle. Now, I've never done this before, so we'll see how this turns out. You're learning with me. So if I make a mistake, we may pull it all apart, but for now, and what I want to do right now is I want to get my red mesh up off the floor so someone doesn't take it away and play with it. All right. And I'm just going to sit that over here, like I said with mine. And I'm going to go around now and open all the ties. And like, once again, I said, I did cut the mesh. It's 10-inch wide mesh, and I cut it 20 inches long. So it would make one of the bigger ruffles. And it's kind of see-through, but so we may have to go back, but we're going to try this. We'll just start with our white. And when you do the ruffle method, you just put out try to find the middle-ish, which is about 5 inches. And you just gather it up. I really have some pretty Valentine ribbon to use on this because, once again, when I was at Hobby Lobby, they had it all at 70% off. I wish they put their Easter and St. Patrick's Day stuff, but they haven't yet. So I keep looking, and then I keep going, no, I'll wait, no, I'll wait. And that's the ruffle. I'm just trying to make it kind of. I'm just going to snip some of this off here where it was cut. Found out if you snip it before you put it on, sometimes it's easier than trying to snip the little things off after you put it on. So I'm going to put that one right there. And I'm just going to turn it once. Because you know what? I think since this is really thin, or kind of see-through, I'm going to go ahead, and I think I've cut enough. I cut 20 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 times 2 is 16. So I should have 4 pieces left over if I put 2 per thing. But we'll see. Right in the middle, scrunch up, and it's so much better today. I have a couple burns from glue guns on my fingers, and this is my one that I have left is the one on my thumb, but the one on my other 2 fingers that I burned. And that one I didn't even like. What I did was I was trying to glue the welcome on my other heart wreath, and I dropped the letter onto my thumb, which was not where it was intended to go. I have a little trouble holding this with my hands, but I'm going to open this back up. I can remember which way I put it. And I'm going to stick this pink one right down in there with the white one. And then I'm going to crunch it and tie it up tight. Now you can move these in any direction you want. Once you get them on there, and just snip and fray once you get them off of there. I don't know, I think I'm going to make them go kind of in a opposite type kind of pattern. These ties seem pretty far apart, but maybe with the 20-inch it'll fill up anyway for us. And we're going to continue to do that all the way around that inner ring. White on the bottom. I have such little workspace, it's hard to figure out where to sit things. We'll put white on the bottom and pink on the top. I do have a cute sign to go in the middle of this that says love that I got over at Hobby Lobby. I liked it anyway. And such a nice quiet afternoon here. Even Lamba, she went and got in her bed, so that's good. I was going to lay down and rest a little bit since we got up early, but my grandson was upstairs. I'm not sure what he was building today, but I don't know. I guess he got it done because he quit banging. And I'll have to go up there later and check it out. Never tell what kind of good things he's making. Of course, I may not be able to tell what he was making anyway, but he sure must have thought he was making something. And I believe he might be down for a nap now. I'm not quite sure. Usually wait till about 3. But since it's 2:30 and it's a quiet day and can't do anything else around here, sleeping seems ideal. I'm going to try to keep this in the middle. I'm not very good at that. But you can always pinch it, look at it. If you don't like it, do it again. That's not going to work for me. Gotta switch hands. And if you ever have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm going to try to keep like 2 on hand for each season at least. But if you ever like have any kind of wreath you'd like or one you'd like to see made, go ahead and let me know. And I'll see if I've got the supplies or I'll get them and we'll try it out and make them. And then if you like them, we can talk. I know right now I'm out I'm trying to find, and I may have to go to Crafters Outlet because I really haven't seen any in the craft stores we have around here. But I'm wanting to get a hold of some crosses because I think those would be nice to use for Easter and perhaps Memorial Day. Pull these up. I definitely know I want ribbon on this portion, so I definitely want to keep those ties up. I might just stick this mesh down so you can see where we covered that heart. It's really hard to know what to talk about when I'm on here, especially when I can't see the comments because they're so far away from me. Yes, I don't want it to be boring for you to just sit here and watch. But also sometimes then I have to concentrate. So if I ever go real silent, I'm concentrating. Do have a glass of tea sitting over there. I'm going to have a drink in a minute. And I have to hold these down so I can get the light on so I can see what I'm doing. This is spraying a little bit, but it's not bad. It's not as bad as when I made the last Mardi Gras Day wreath. I used a silver gold, and it was 21 inch like the red I put on the wreath earlier. And I needed it in 10 inch. I hadn't gotten any white until this morning. And it was horrifying. I was having such a hard time trying to work with it and keep the fray out. So I think I'm going to have to get my soldering iron back out, and when I cut the 21 inch piece in half, I will have to use the soldering iron to cut it so that it keeps it from fraying so much. Because it's just better. Fray is the deco mesh wreath enemy. Or maybe it's the wreath maker's enemy. This isn't bad mesh though. It's not real thick mesh, but it's not real hard grainy mesh. So it's not really that hard on the fingers, which is a wonderful thing. And by the way, if anybody on here is local, I believe I saw where UNO is going to be closed for everything tonight. A lot of things are closing. Because I guess they're expecting a lot more snow and wind, giving near whiteout conditions. Sean had asked me how the roads were here, and right now it's not snowing, or it wasn't. The last time I looked out in the streets, it looks like they've already scooped them. Now, we haven't scooped the drive yet, which we should, but just haven't done it. And so the streets look real good out front, which is good because I'm in a neighborhood, so you know we're not one of the first ones to get scooped. And I live off of 36th Street, so that's a major snow route, I believe. But it wasn't bad at all going downtown this morning or coming back. Didn't seem to be snowing too awful hard. Sometimes like I said with the other thing, I just feel like when I was little and had a Barbie doll and I cut its hair once, and I feel like I'm getting ready to cut it all off. This one is here. Okay. Now, I don't know why, but on the inside, they put the tie right where I want it, down in the point of the heart. So, And another thing I never did during my life was mix pink and red together. I always thought that was like a taboo thing. However, maybe not. I see it a lot, so we're going to try it and see what happens. You never know unless you try. And I do know you can take these apart. I had some that I hung outside that were not sealed for the Christmas season, and they held up. I mean, they kept their shape pretty well. However, the ones I had on the other house I decorate, which is kind of in what I like to call a wind tunnel, especially in the back, but I hung them out front, but it's still quite a wind tunnel there. And yeah, the big candy cane ones I made on 18-inch frames, those are coming apart. We've got one taken apart. Kind of have to have Mike's help because my hands won't let me flip and pull and all of that for long. But I got one of them apart because there's no reason to throw the whole thing away when I can reuse that ring and make another pretty wreath to put out there until the wind decides to take it. Now, I did check the snowflake this morning that I have out in front of my house, one of my favorite wreaths I made, and it seems to be holding up real good. I did, however, spray it. I don't know if I sprayed it once or twice with the sealer I got from Walmart after I hung it, and it had decorations on it, so I was real careful because they say that can stain and mess up the decorations, but it really didn't. Hi, Patty. How are you? What are you doing on this snowy day? Anything fun? And I don't know, if you guys have trouble talking back with me on this, let me know, because I haven't used Facebook Live much. So I tried something today, and I don't know if it did any good. I was talking to someone, and they said, well, do you use @live? And I thought, no, I just push the button for Facebook Live. So whether it did me any good or not, I put @live on it. So maybe it did. Now I have another girl that I watch, and somehow she's able to send out invitations. But I take there's no school today for anybody around here, huh? I figure if UNO cancels, that's pretty much means a good storm, because at least when I was going to school there, and it wasn't that long ago because I started later, they didn't cancel for Jack. I had to show up or just be one of those horrible students that skipped. But most of the time I was writing, usually. Because I can't drive this truck, but it's just too big. But Sean was going to school the same time I was, and he used to pick me up, especially when I worked. I worked over at Bergen Mercy, and he would pick me up and then drop me off and then take me back, and it was nice. Of course, one class we actually had together, so thank goodness, because I would never have gotten through Calculus 2 without a little encouragement and help. Okay, well, I think I'm getting it. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong ring. I was like, alrighty, here we go. And I actually bought 2 rolls of pink and 2 rolls of white. So what I did was open all 4 rolls. That way I could cut 4 pieces at a time, and it just goes quicker. Because sometimes, especially when I cut with the soldering iron, I did 1 piece at a time, because it does slightly melt the mesh, and that's how you get it to stay from fraying, because it kind of knobs the ends. But cutting 20 pieces of mesh with a solder iron takes a good amount of time. And if you don't burn anything while you do that, that's really great. because I always did burn something. Me, the laptop, the coffee cup, something something plastic around me had to get burnt almost every time. Or fleshy. I guess I wouldn't be plastic, I'd be fleshy. But if you snip as you go, the fray off. I did. Well, I scrunched this one up and I want white on the bottom. So I'm going to take a chip clip, and I just got 3 chip clips at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to take this chip clip, and that way I won't have to scrunch that one up again. Sit it over there. But I thought about that though. You know, as you get older, and I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but as you get older, I don't know if you want to call it OCD, cranky, but you get to where you want things a certain way, and you have to do things a certain way, and you get a little irritated if that doesn't happen. Because one thing that irritates me is when Mike helps me put up all my stuff, we had some pipes there, so we built like a box around it, and the top lifts up, and you can store stuff down in it if you want. And he just throws everything up there, and that's not where I wanted it. So I really don't ask him to help me put stuff up unless I'm just really in the mood to reorganize, because then I go over there. Well, I go over there about every other time I make a wreath and look at stuff and restore it and make sure I have all of my items where I need them. I try to keep similar holidays or similar colors together. Like I have one bag that I'm keeping out from Christmas because they're kind of, I always want to say gender neutral, and that's not what I mean. I mean holiday neutral. The kind of holiday neutral decorations that you can use are sparkly. I like, as you know, I like really sparkly, glittery. And so I try to keep them all together. So I have a bag over there that's nothing but like a teal blue. It might have some dark blue in it, but mostly just teal blue and green, like a lime green, that they had out at Christmas time. They got a wonderful, I mean, it was just a wonderful sale. Picked up my one from before, take it out of my chip clip. Anyway, so I keep those together because one of these days, what I really would love to make is myself, because I want it peacock colors. And I've got some peacock leaves and a bird and all kinds of nifty stuff to go on it. And that, before I even thought about having to get rid of any of these because they're all hanging on my walls, that's really what I want to make that. Found some really great ribbon. I don't know if they still have it. Why I bought ribbon, I don't know, because I really hadn't used ribbon. It's kind of, when you're in the learning process, I guess we can play with it later. I wanted to keep that heart shape so bad. And really, when you're using a ruffle method, now you could do it on a petal method, you could keep it in that form. You know, I think with these ruffles, what I will do, I'm going to push them kind of down in this other mesh. Not let them like really ruffle over, just let them ruffle in the middle. And see if maybe that'll kind of help keep our heart form. I don't know, maybe that's not a good idea and I'll change my mind. But for now, I think that's what I'm going to do. Huh? It's beginning to wonder there for a minute. Those two look kind of far apart. It's because I missed one. I noticed I did that. Didn't realize it till I was almost done, and I missed one in the Mardi Gras wreath. I had made it into a working wreath. I used the Dollar Tree 14-inch wreath, and I made it into a working wreath. Like most working wreaths, because one row is here and the other row stands up higher, but those are flat. And but I decided, you know what, that's not bad, because if you want to hang them on your door, you always have the situation, if you have a screen door on there, getting it between the screen and the door. And I knew it would work because I hung one over on Sean's door, and I've hung one on my door. But I didn't want to make it real poofy, because I wanted that option if you wanted it on your front door. And when I finished the last Mardi Gras wreath, I'm also thinking of boxes in case I have to mail any out. And the Mardi Gras wreath measured about 22 inches across, or circular, and then 10 inches deep. And so I didn't think that was bad. Now, the one I put on his door was a ruffle ring, the one I put on his door for Christmas. But the one I put on our front door for Valentine's Day, which I need to go out and fix the petals actually, I got an idea about that because they were drooping. But the one that I put on our front door is in the petal style. So, and I suppose I could go back and do this after, but I just want to go ahead and do it now. Oh boy, more stuff coming up on the TV. Whiteout conditions. I haven't seen that. Well, I guess I have probably, but a lot of people get upset by whiteout conditions, you know. Thing is, we lived in Iceland for 2 years basically, and whiteouts after that don't mean that much, because they're probably 6 to 8 months out of the year you have whiteout conditions all the time. In fact, we had a bet, you know, not a bet, but this, we took a poll, wonder when because when they scoop the flight line, they of course make a big mound of snow. And when I say a big mound, I mean like a mountain. And we were placing bets to see who thought and who would win when the snow would melt. And I really think it all didn't melt out until June that next summer. So it was a nice snowy thing. She got used to a lot of stuff. We came back to New Mexico, and they have a lot of wind there also in Clovis, and people go, "Aren't you worried? You know, it's snowing sideways." I go, that ain't nothing. Wait until you get in a blizzard warning, well, the winds there were like gale force. So this has got kind of a little fray going to it, but don't worry about it all that much. Just snip off the ones that bug me most. Yeah. I think that's looking okay. Actually, this mesh is going on pretty quick. That's good. I don't believe the little man's up, but if he is, I'll have to stop and watch him while the boys go out and get Nick to work. Like I said, I just wanted to put the mesh on too because I want to spray starch it. And stiffens it up a little bit, helps it keep its shape, helps the fray. And I can use it in the house because it doesn't smell that bad and it's not got toxic chemicals. I hope. Otherwise, every housewife in the world's been doing it for a long time. I remember when I first used it the other day, I was like, oh, this smells like when Mom used to iron Dad's shirt. And then the weirdest thing happened, you know how you get into like a sentimental mood. And all of a sudden, I could smell pimento cheese salad. My mother loved to make that. Where you take the little jar, looks like, I think they call it Old English cheese now. Because I haven't seen the pimento cheese in a long time. But you take the little jar and you know, I really don't know what she put in it. Except pimento cheese. I know she made other stuff. And put it in one of those square rectangular Pyrex. It was a yellow bowl. That was her favorite one. She put it in. Like every bowl had a dish that went in it, you know. You made macaroni and cheese that went in this bowl. If you made pimento cheese that went in this bowl. She also liked something called a Robert Redford or a Waldorf salad. And unfortunately now I packed all her cookbooks up when we moved out into the trailer the first time. So I'm not quite sure where they're at, but she did a lot of cooking, her and my grandma both. In fact, those bowls may have come from my grandma's in the beginning. They may have been what she put hers in. But I could smell pimento cheese salad, and I didn't even like it. I never ate it. But I'm like, oh, Mom must be thinking of me. I'm smelling pimento cheese. It's like we only have one more to do. That's pretty cool. Then we'll have it all done, and you all can let me know what you think. And then maybe, I don't know though, because it's one of those nights where we have a Bruins game. And of course, wrestling's on, and they're doing 25 years of Raw. And since I've watched it since before the beginning of time, it seems like I actually watched the first WrestleMania and paid a fortune for it. Kind of interested to see who they'll bring back from the old days. So two big events to do tonight to watch on television. So at least I don't have to watch Cops or Live PD. It's two of Michael's favorites. The Bruins have been doing really good in their hockey games. And that's another thing. And I don't know if any of you guys know, but I am trying to find things to put in the middle of wreaths, round wreaths. And I'm looking for some certain teams. And I really don't want to go to the NHL, the MLB, or the NFL, because they always want like 4 times the price for this stuff. And there's only one of the 3 I can find, and that's the St. Louis Cardinals. But I'm also looking for Boston Bruins and Philadelphia Eagles. Although Eagles stuff may become, aren't they in the Super Bowl? I think. Maybe not. Maybe I lied. Thought I saw that somewhere on Facebook last night. I don't keep up with football. In fact, I don't even watch baseball anymore. All I watch now is hockey. And the Bruins have been doing excellent, so we're all excited. Used to watch the Red Sox, and then I got into the Royals. Being a native from there, you gotta kind of keep your alliance or your You have to be a fan. It's kind of like up here where everybody has to be a Husker fan. In Kansas City, everybody has to be a Royals or a Chiefs fan. Otherwise, people give you stink eyes. And who wants to get a stink eye, right? The only game I have with Nebraska where I really care, or I actually win if either team wins, is when they play Mizzou, of course, University of Missouri. And my dad was a big Mizzou fan, so I can remember back in the day he used to get all upset. There was one game, and I can't remember when it was because he passed away in '98, and Mizzou was playing Nebraska. And I think they preempted with a commercial here in Nebraska, but they didn't preempt it in Missouri or vice versa. But anyway, kind of thinking that they didn't preempt it down there. Because I know he was so mad because that shouldn't have been called, or there should have been a penalty, or I don't know what. I'm just like, okay. I was thinking, well, I guess they learned that they should have put the commercial on both sides so everybody could see what was happening. Because I think, like, Nebraska might have scored right after that and ended up beating the Tigers, but it was because of that one bad play. But anyway, I think we've got all of our mesh on now. Now all I'm doing is tucking it around the first row that we put the red on, which is the actual shape of the heart. And I didn't think to do that when I started. So I wasn't thinking about the ruffle going out that far. All right, let's see if I can hold this so that you can see it. Still don't have the best setup yet for my camera, but it's better. So that kind of, tucking it in kind of helps a little bit. It kind of looks like a heart shape. Maybe if I hold it way back here. And then if I can sit up. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'll probably hop up off of here now. I just wanted to do, I was going to show you what I was going to use if I can find it. This is the sign I picked up to put on it. And I'll probably put that, like, I told Mike I want an easel. When you lay things flat and you put the decorations on it, when you hang them up, they don't look the same. So you kind of need to do it in an almost standing position. But this is the sign I have. And I have these hearts. And I have these hearts. And I have chosen these hearts. And I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. But I might. No, probably won't because of the sign. This is a cute little thing. The one thing we did notice is, you have to turn this around. It looked like a Z. Mike goes, what's Zoe? I go, no, it's love. It sets up in a little container. It's really cute. But also, what I've chosen, I have this ribbon. I have this ribbon. I guess it goes this way. And then I have this ribbon. So I will be cutting the ribbon and we will be putting that in. I don't know if I'll put it on the outer or just the inner ring, because the outer ring is kind of just like a, you know, like if you drew a heart with your pencil. I'm going to put these back in here because if I don't, Chloe gets them. Lambda gets them and she takes them off. But I just thought this was, they had this and they had a gold heart, like a gold sparkly heart, but I really like the one with the flowers on it better. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and jump off now. I'll be back, hopefully be back later. If not, what I'll do is I will video it if it's going to be like extremely late and show you how I decide to put the decorations on it. If I do all that, then the dog will not chew it. And she loves these too. She thinks these are toys. We also had a cat at one time that thought these were toys. When I was making Melinda's flowers for her wedding, she actually would steal the flowers and take them away. She thought they were her toys. And I was like, bring that back. I can go ahead and put this mesh up. I made myself 3 different cards here. I've got a 7-inch card, a 6-inch card, and a 5-inch card. So I can either cut the ribbons that length or I can cut them 10, 12, and 14. And this one, you know, I might just stay with the 5 because there's so much. I don't want it to go out too far over. And I'll probably go ahead and hide all of my ties that are on the outside because we won't be using them. However, this tie that I have in the middle, it's sneaky. I like to offer a hanger for the wreaths, and I think what I'm going to do, I was using ribbon, but my tying capabilities weren't very good. Didn't do that well. So I think what I'm going to do with this one that we put, we'll make a dual mesh. I think that'll work. These snips. Usually I have my snips out, but I put them away. I'm just going to take, although I did this to the Mardi Gras one and they didn't get it hooked tight and it fell, but yeah. I'm going to turn this back under so it doesn't poke people. I just took that twist tie and now I have a small hanger. I don't know. Can you see it better now? So I have a small hanger and I can hang that right on my hook on the door, and if people don't want it, they can just take and tack it back under. But anyway, so far this is what it is. If you can, let me know if you like the look or don't like the look, and we'll come back later after I'm going to spray it. I want it to dry. It doesn't take very long really, but I like to give it sometimes extra chance to dry because then that way you make sure you don't want it to be tacky. And but the spray starch seems to dry amazingly quick. That's the other thing I like about it over the Krylon is that it does dry quick and then I don't have to play with it. But if I am able to get outside, I will take them outside and spray them. Usually they say wait 20 to 30 minutes and do 2 coats. So, and to always wear a mask when you use the Krylon. And let me tell you why, because that is very, very smelly stuff. In fact, I think I have not just a little painter's mask, but I have one with carbon that I use. And so that way you don't get any issues from it because I've already played with paint and issues with paint. So just don't want to take any chances. But anyway, so you can't see. I could lay down. Here's what we've got for now. You kind of see me. Well, my head's kind of cut off. I tell you, one of these days, I'll know how to do this, won't I? Now it's probably way over my head. No. Okay, good. You can see it, if you can see it on the door, that's the one, the Mardi Gras wreath I made last night. Anyway, though, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now, and I will be back later, or I will do a video so that you can see me putting the decorations on. Sometimes it's better maybe because sometimes I get a little irritated because it won't go where I want. But put ribbons on it, we'll put the decorations on it, and we'll get it all ready to go and get out there on the website. So everybody take care, drive careful, stay warm, and we will see you all later. Have a wonderful afternoon. Of course, then my mouse never works. So I say all these goodbyes and I just sit here like, duh. All right, we'll see everybody later. Bye bye.